Welcome everybody to the fourth installment of Two Dudes in a Nest. With me as usual is Michael and I'm Justin. Today we're going to be talking about the much maligned Ghostbusters game by Activision. Yeah. We'll get to the feedback a little later, but some people were a little upset about this game, but you know what?
and upset about us picking to do it, apparently.
Yeah, but you know what? We're going to do, there's like 700 NES games. Hopefully this show's going to have the staying power to do every single one of them.
Yeah, we gotta play bad games too. We don't want to peak too early, you know.
Right.
What are we going to have? What happens if like our show peaks and we've already done all the good games? People are definitely going to stop listening then. So anyways,
right.
We got to do bad games.
Right. So we've had 3 good games, so now let's do this game, which, you know, honestly, wasn't necessarily one of my favorite games, but wasn't a game that I hated either as a kid. But we'll talk about that later. We also have a special guest coming in today at some point. So we're back on the guest thing. And so we're going to talk about a little bit about Ghostbusters. So, Mike, have you got some history or anything to tell us about Ghostbusters? How the game came about?
Sure. Ghostbusters was made by Activision, like you said. I believe it was released in 1988. And it was a game that was made by a somewhat famous NES producer, director or whatever, David Crane. He also did Boy in a Blob or A Boy in His Blob. I don't know. A lot of people like that game. So he's pretty famous for that. Mm-hmm. It was released on a bunch of different systems, and the NES pretty much got the most bum rap out of all of them. I mean, it's got, you know, the worst graphics out of the majority of the games. You know, it's just... It's a very arcadey type game. It's in the style of an arcade game where you don't really do a whole lot. There's not a whole lot of story. You kind of have to fill in the gaps from your memory of the movie and whatnot. So, I mean, the history of the game, there's really not a whole lot of history to talk about. But, that's pretty much it as far as I got history concerned.
Yeah, it's interesting, the game is. As I said, as a kid, I liked it. And I remember a few years ago, as a lot of people probably don't know this, but me and Michael used to be roommates at University of Tennessee, and we this is our kind of our second stint with retro gaming. We got into retro gaming back then when we were roommates, and I wanted to buy Ghostbusters because as a kid, I remember Ghostbusters being awesome, and got on eBay, bought Ghostbusters. It came, and it sucked. Much to my surprise. My memory as a child probably wasn't that great. So,
another game we may touch on that came from that same era of us playing games is Jaws, which also was not a very good game. But we'll talk about that on another show. But that's also from that era. I remember us going back and playing these games that we somewhat thought were good when we were kids for some reason.
Yeah.
And then...
yeah.
So Ghostbusters is pretty much high on that list of, oops, I guess I was a dumb kid.
Yeah. Well, you know, it is interesting because the game, let's just talk about the gameplay now. The game is weird. Like, you pick what building you're going to go to, and then you get in the car and you drive for, like, not very far. Just like, it shows you like how many meters you are away from the building. And you start out like 140 and you stop at 32. Like every time it's 32 meters.
Yeah, something about that I noticed is I always thought it had to do with how far away you were at the time, and which building you had to go to. Like if it was all the way across town, it seemed like it was longer to me. But actually, the more I played it, the more I realized that it wasn't how far away it was. It was just how long it took you to pick it. So it's more time based. So it's like, oh, I got to go to my neighbor's house, but I'm going to wait a little bit, so it's actually going to get further away.
Yeah. Well, I remember as a kid that being the cool part. It's like driving the car, but then when I played it later on, I was like, no, this isn't the cool part. This is lame.
It's kind of Spy Hunter-esque. I mean, without any guns and shooting or anything, you're just driving. But it kind of reminded me of Spy Hunter in a way, that part.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So then you pick where you're going. The car drives up, and then you get out, and 4 ghosts, always 4 ghosts, and you get your little taser out, and you try to catch them.
It's a proton pack.
Proton pack, yes.
Taser.
Still, I know, God, what am I talking about? So you get the 4 ghosts, you catch them in the trap, and then you go to the next building.
Rinse and repeat.
Yeah.
Until it tells you to go to Zool.
Yeah. And that's weird, too. It's like, you gotta do this, keep doing this. And it's like, even there's some buildings, so the buildings, they flash when there's ghosts there. You gotta go bust the ghosts. So, you gotta go to those buildings. But then there could still be flashing buildings. And then it's like, go to Zool. You gotta go to Zool. Go now.
Well, what happened to me, I don't know if this was just a glitch in the game or something, but I was doing really well. I had like 20-something thousand dollars because I was getting all 4 ghosts every time. And something to know, when you get all 4 ghosts, you get the most money because it builds up. It's kind of like when you eat the ghosts in Pac-Man. If you eat all 4, you get a bunch of points. But anyways, so I was doing really well, and it said, okay, time to go to Zool. And I said, oh, okay, I know what to do. I'd been playing for a while, so I kind of knew what to do. So I went to the store and bought a bunch of ghost food, spent all my money on ghost food and the ghost suit or whatever.
Right.
And I get back out, and it no longer told me to go to Zool. It changed its mind. So here I am with all this ghost food and the ghost suit and no money to buy anything else.
Yeah. So that's another thing about the game that's kind of weird. Ghost food. What is ghost food? What do ghosts eat?
Well, if you're Slimer, then you eat just about anything, right?
Yeah, that's true. But
another thing speaking of that, going to the store. Why am I going to the store to buy like proton packs and ghost vacuums? And it's like,
yeah, that seems like
it's like, hang on, I gotta go get me a proton pack, a ghost vacuum, some bread, some milk.
Yeah, it seems like something you should just probably have. You know,
yeah.
If you're Ghostbusters, like you should probably just have your stuff.
Yeah,
proton packs.
I think
ghost food.
Normally they make it themselves, right?
Yeah. When you talk about, so you got the ghost food, and you got the anti-ghost suit. What is an anti-ghost suit? I don't really know.
It lets them hit you 2 more times.
2 more times, yeah. Or you can get a sound generator. The sound generator, apparently the ghosts don't like this sound. Kind of like one of those things you put in your house that mice are supposed to hate that sound and they run away. And you can use that too, but it's really expensive. And
I never even came close to getting enough money to get that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like $100,000 or something.
But just think about the idea of going up the stairs. It's like, here comes a ghost. Oh, here's some food. Here. The ghost is like, I'm gonna get you. Oh, yum, food.
Yummy.
Yeah. Oh man, this is ADD ghosts.
I want to talk about the driving part a little bit more because there's a couple things that really I thought were strange. One is there's fire hydrants everywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, there's like every 2 meters there's a fire hydrant.
Right.
And the other thing is, what's the deal with NES games and oil drums? There's like oil drums in the middle of the road. And last week we played Double Dragon, and there's oil drums everywhere.
Right. I don't know. That is interesting. Usually when I'm driving down the interstate, I don't see a lot of oil drums just sitting in the middle of the road.
Yeah, but if you do, you can run over them when you're full of gas again.
Yeah, and Ghostbusters, it's like, they're everywhere. That's another thing. You got to get gas too. Can't run out of gas.
That's the most ridiculous part to me. I do not remember the part in the movie when they ran out of gas and had to push the car.
Yeah. But in the game, if you run out of gas, you're pushing. Oh man.
Yeah.
That's just
you start off the game too with nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Like you have to go to the store to buy stuff before you do anything.
Right.
So when I first went to the store, I just bought the cheapest stuff, right? I bought the cheapest proton pack, the cheapest vacuum.
Mm-hmm.
But then you get out and you start using the vacuum, and every 3 times you use the vacuum, you have to go back to the hideout and empty it or something.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you get the super vacuum, and then you don't ever have to do that. So after playing through the first time, I definitely just got the super vacuum right off the bat. There's no point in even getting the other vacuum.
Right.
The proton pack doesn't make a big deal. I couldn't even notice. You get an extra couple dots of length in your proton pack or something. I don't know.
And then you drive. That's another thing. You drive to the headquarters, and it doesn't really show it. It just shows like the ghost leaving the car. It's just like you tell them to get out and go. You know what to do. Go on.
Yeah, either that or the Ghostbusters run from the hideout, or not the hideout, the headquarters into the car. It's like, who's driving the car? Like the car pulls up to the headquarters and all the Ghostbusters run out and get in it.
Yeah. What's going on? I didn't see anybody get out of the car.
And this game's racist too, by the way, speaking of Ghostbusters, because there's no Winston.
Yeah.
Just 3 white dudes.
Yeah. So it's about time for our guest. He's running a little late. I don't know where he is.
Well, I've actually got him here in the trap with me.
Oh, okay.
I'm kind of reluctant to let him out. Are you sure we want to do this?
Yeah. Let's do it.
All right. Here he comes. Yeah. Oh, he's
all right, Slimer.
Yeah. How's it going, Slimer? You've been pretty nice today.
What are you doing? No. Wait a minute. Don't. What are you doing? Okay. That's enough. That's enough. Come here.
Okay, we'll be right back.
Yeah. Hold on. Yeah.
We're gonna have to take care of this.
All right. Yeah. All right, we're back. Sorry about that. We don't have a lot of luck with guests here at Two Dudes and a Mess.
We have the worst guests ever.
So Slimer was a bad idea.
Told
we
you.
admit that. Yeah. Okay. Or I admit that. All right. So let's talk about probably the most maligned part of the game: the stairs at the Temple of Zool. Let's just talk. What is that? Did they just try to make it impossible? It's like the game. Well, I guess to be honest, the game's really not that difficult up to this point, and it just becomes stupid.
Well, yeah, you can't even lose. I don't think until you get to the tower.
Yeah.
What kills me though is who in the right mind makes you just repeatedly press A to walk? I don't understand that.
Yeah.
It's needlessly difficult. I mean, they purposefully made it difficult to make you have to hit A over and over again.
Mm-hmm. And so you got to hit A over and over again to get up the steps. You got to drop the ghost food, or the ghosts are going to get you.
Which another thing about that is, you would think B button, right? You're using A to walk. Maybe B would set the ghost food down. No. They mapped that to the start button, which
yeah, it makes no sense. That's supposed to be pause. That's supposed to be pause, people.
B button does diddly squat.
Yeah, you're just A and start.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So most people really don't make it up the stairs, and I don't. But
I haven't either. I tried. I couldn't do it. I got frustrated. I didn't play this game as much as I did Double Dragon.
Yeah. And so you try, and you try, and you try. Well, if you do get up the stairs, you fight Gozer. Blah. You know, whatever.
Is that the woman?
Is it a woman? I don't remember if it was a woman or just a kind of feminine guy.
Oh, well, I don't know. Could have just been a feminine guy.
Maybe, I don't know. And you get up there and you fight her, him, he, she, whatever. But most people don't get up the stairs because they get overly frustrated with the never-ending stairs. Their thumbs cramp because they're hitting an A button over and over. And they realize somewhere, probably around the middle of the stairs, this game is pointless and they've wasted their money.
Yeah.
So, which is, pretty much what I decided after I bought that off eBay.
Well, fortunately, I don't remember how much you paid for it on eBay, but I'm pretty sure it was pretty cheap.
Yeah, I'm sure it wasn't more than $5. But you can still get it on eBay for about $5.
Yeah, see, I've got the game. I think I got it from you being so frustrated with your buy that you just gave it to me.
Yeah, probably.
So, I don't know where I got it, but I've got the game.
Yeah.
I know. Is the Marshmallow Man in the end of the game?
Wasn't he in like the second one? I don't think he was in this one. I don't know.
Well, he was in the first movie.
Right.
So I don't know. Maybe, surely he's in the game somewhere.
Yeah. So, yeah, you see he does come out when you're battling Gozer. So this is just a walkthrough from GameFAQs.com. Now there's the trick, folks. Blast Gozer until she's dead. Got it. If the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man climbs the building before you've killed Gozer, then you lose. Got it? Here's hoping, after all, that you don't screw up. Yeah, it's just that simple.
Yeah, okay. So maybe once you get past the climbing the stairs part, it's pretty easy.
Yeah. Yeah.
What bothered me a little bit about this game is, we've been trying to do high scores, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, this is an arcade-style game. There's really not a whole lot of story. You're kind of just doing these repetitive things over and over again until you go do another thing, and then you do another thing. And it's just kind of stages. But the problem that I had with it was there's no way to do high scores. I mean, you have money, but you spend that money, so you can't really... I was thinking maybe money going into Zool, but even then I wanted to spend all my money on ghost food and stuff to try to get up the stairs. So I don't know.
Yeah. So this guy also did a section called How to Lose, and this is pretty funny. Stay Puft. This is one of the ways to lose. Is the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man appears, and you don't have at least $10,000 in your bank account. Apparently, the city expects you to be able to pay for the damage done. So you do all this, you don't have $10,000. Sorry, you lose. You got.
Well, that's another thing too. Not to jump backwards, but when you're driving the car, if you run into other cars, it's like minus $100, minus $300. Yeah. It's like the Ghostbusters didn't get insurance. They're just whatever.
Here's some money. Go on. Yeah. So, I think we can pretty much say that this game's ridiculous.
Yeah. Hey, give that guy a shout out, the Game Fat guy. Does he have a name?
He does not have a name. It says the website is GameFAQs.com. And, The guy that wrote the one for Ghostbusters, it just says Vegeta. Vegita. Okay. Eric Johnson. Oh, it's written by Eric. Actually, written by Reverend Eric Johnson.
Okay. That's a good fact there, Eric.
Yeah. So thank you for telling us how to beat the game that most people can't beat. There you go.
Yeah.
All right. So,
this has been a kind of a short episode probably, but this game's just not very good. It's not really worth spending a whole lot of time on. But we did get some feedback.
Yeah, let's talk about feedback.
Okay. I've got it pulled up.
All right. Go ahead.
So, I'll start with, we got feedback from Facebook and from Twitter. So we'll start with Facebook. All right. Aaron Hickman, who's been a pretty big listener on our show. We appreciate you, Aaron. He says, this game is bad, and you should feel bad. Just kidding. Well, it's not the greatest game ever. It was a jack of all trades and a master of none. But I still have a certain nostalgia for it.
Yeah.
I kind of feel the same way, because I liked it as a kid, and I kind of enjoyed playing it now. It just frustrated me every time I would get to the stairs, and by the time I would get to the stairs, I felt like all the other time I spent was just a waste. But I kind of have the same feeling he does about the nostalgia.
Yeah, I think that's my thing too. Yeah.
And then Kyle Murphy with the Insert Coin podcast says, this is pretty bad. Only thing I enjoyed about the game was the music. And I'm pretty forgiving on my critiques of retro titles normally.
Yeah.
The music was good. It was you had to listen to the Ghostbusters theme over and over and over and over again, but it was good. It was well done.
Yeah, I like the Ghostbusters theme. So there you go.
All right. Eric Purcell says, I remember stairs, lots and lots of stairs. I think the game should have used the theme from the Never-Ending Story. Oh, I get it. He also says, I always defended this game when I was younger. Not sure why, though, considering the game really isn't that great. I'm guessing it's because the Ghostbusters movie was incredible, and I wanted the game to do so well.
Yeah. All right. So we also... Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead. Bill Szynski says, no! This game is awful.
All right.
Kyle Nixon says, that's the first NES game I ever owned. Oh, I'm sorry, Kyle. Besides Super Mario Brothers Duck Hunt.
Or at least he had Super Mario Brothers and Duck Hunt.
Yeah. Philip Vaughn says, no, it's so bad. However, the Sega Genesis version is playable. Okay, this is the NES podcast, Philip. But thank you. See, Jerry Cabellin says, this game is horrible. Why cover it? It's so bad and boring on so many levels.
Thank you, Jerry.
I think we addressed why we have to cover it, Jerry, and I'm sorry. I hope you still enjoyed the show so far.
Yeah.
Matthew Rudolph, Adamiak, I'm sorry if I butchered your name. He says, you should cover the Master System version instead. Much better. Again, this is the NES. We're NES dudes, so
yeah.
Maybe one day somebody will do a Master System show for us. Trevor Barber says,
this is my favorite right here.
That game sucks.
Yeah.
Short and sweet.
Yeah, thank you, Trevor. Yeah, okay.
Aaron actually commented again, Aaron Hickman, he says, part of the fun of the podcast is going for a divisive game. I mean, it's no Action 52, but if you line it up against the other games that came out in 1988, it's low on the list. I mean, you had stuff like Contra, Blaster Master, Bionic Commando, Metal Gear, Double Dragon, all came out that year. Yeah, good point, Aaron, and we definitely will hit all of those games, because all those games are great.
Yeah.
But we got to hit the bad ones, too.
Right.
And Eric Purcell came back again and said, I'm all for reviewing the good, bad, and the ugly.
There you go.
Which, I wonder if they made did they make a game called, about the movie The Good, Bad, and the Ugly for NES? I know that's not what he's talking about, but...
Yeah, I don't know, but that would be pretty cool.
Yeah. Okay, on to Twitter. We just got 3 on Twitter. It's, Jason Wagner says, "I don't know if anyone ever truly beats that game. You can finish it, but the stairs scar you for life."
Right.
The Party Girl says, "Ghost Vacuum. LOL. I like David Crane games usually." So, like I said earlier, David Crane did make a few really good NES games. One of which being Boy and His Blob. Mm-hmm. And then Jeremy Chippett says, "It's a great game. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise." So Jeremy liked it.
All right, Jeremy.
I think he's the only person that liked it in the entire list.
The lone man to give us voice of support for the Ghostbusters.
And we appreciate it.
Yeah.
All right. I know we don't really give ratings, but if I was going to rate this game, I would probably rate it about a 5.5 out of 10, maybe a 6.
Yeah. The gameplay's terrible, but the nostalgia part's pretty cool.
It's all, 3 of those points is nostalgia, so it'd probably be a 2 or a 3 otherwise. But
yeah, I'd probably go with the same. I like the 5.5 or a 6.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, I think we should do some shout-outs because we never do shout-outs, and we've got a little extra time on this show. So let's shout out our fellow Retro Junkies. We are, as some of you may know, we're part of the Retro Junkies Network. Mm-hmm. And so I would like to shout out our other shows. The mother show of this all, the one that started it, is the Super Show, the Retro Junkies Super Show, and they're actually celebrating 1 year this week. So congratulations to them, and thank you for starting this retro empire that we're all a part of.
Right.
The NES podcast, Nick Stevens and Ryan never uses his last name. They're a great show. They do all 90s stuff. They go year by year. It's a good show. Yeah, we hope to have Nick on to do a guest spot with us one day. Cartridge Freaks, which is one of our newer shows, somewhat like us. We're a newer show, but they do just random cartridge shows. Just about as long as it's a cartridge-based game, they'll talk about it. Mm-hmm. Then we've got a show called ColecoVisions, which is about the ColecoVision. Obviously. We have a show called No Quarter, which is about arcade games. It's a really good show. Most of you have probably heard of that one if you've listened to us. Mm-hmm. They've been around a lot longer than we have. Mm-hmm. Genesis Gems about Genesis games. Atari 2600 game by game about Atari 2600. Retro Thought Pod, which is the best one, aside from us, right?
That's right. That's right.
We're just saying that because Jess and I are also on that show. But it's a good show. Go check it out. And then Turtle Flakes for all your Ninja Turtle needs.
Yes.
Yeah. So, all great shows. Be sure to check them out. And then the one last thing I want to mention is this is kind of this is going to be a year-long thing, but we're going to be a part of an Extra Life charity event. Mm-hmm. The Retro Junkies Network is. And what that is we're trying to earn sponsorships and donations. It goes to the Children's Miracle Network. If you don't know what Extra Life is, go to extralife.org and you can look up and see what it is. But basically, later this year, we're going to do a 24-hour gaming session between all the shows. Each show will take a block of time. Hopefully, we can figure out a way to stream it or something so that people can watch us play them. Obviously, Justin and I will probably play some NES games. Mm-hmm. But it's still in the early stages. We're still working out the kinks, trying to figure out what to go and do. But if you want to donate to our show, each show is going to have their own donation block. So if you want to donate to our show, you can go to www.extra-life.org/participant/NES dudes. So you can donate to our show that way. Or if you want to, I think you can maybe go through and find the Retro Junkies Network through that and find another show to donate if you like one of the other shows better. So,
yeah, that's for a good cause. We appreciate it, and when we do the 24-hour thing, we'll try to climb the stairs of Zool.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Yeah, probably not. Probably not. Okay. Yeah,
that may take the entire 24 hours.
Yeah,
unless we get a turbo controller, and as long as you people don't accuse us of cheating.
Yeah. We don't want to open up that can of worms.
Yeah. Okay. I guess that's pretty much it as far as shout outs and stuff goes.
All right. Well, thank you all for joining us, and we'll see you next week with a new game. Hopefully you'll like this one next week. All right.
We won't play 2 bad games in a row, I promise.
Thanks, everybody.
See ya.